Well, what's up, y'all? Hey, look, we are back. It's We Can Be Heroes, baby. It's that Marvel podcast that you all know and love. It's your boy John Torado, one of your hosts, and of course, we have my boy, my little brother, my little twin, Matt Torado. What's up, Matt? How you doing, man?
Hello, how are you? I'm doing good.
Hey, man,
Doing good.
I know you're loving that WandaVision episode most recently. We're gonna get into that, but hey, we have a few little guests here we needed to bring on for this, man, because I had to bring the head honcho, the head host, someone who's not used to not hosting. Of course, he's right here, my man Dwayne. Dwayne, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me on the show. How are you fellas doing?
Hey, we doing good, man. I just, we needed highlight reel up in here to kind of highlight life. Up in here to give us his little thoughts and opinions. I know you're a Marvel fan. I'm glad you hopped on, brother.
Yeah. A lot of people, if they didn't know, man, your boy is a big nerd when it comes to this stuff. So I love it.
Hey, I love it. I love it, bro. You Marvel only or DC or a little bit of everything? What's kind of?
A little bit of everything. I mean, because there are some DC characters that I do like, and thanks to some of the CW shows, there were some that I actually became more of a fan of, like a Green Arrow, for example.
Of course,
but
I'm a CW fan. Hell
yeah. But I definitely will say I'm mostly Marvel, probably of the two for sure.
I like that. And of course, we had to introduce the head honcho, the one that kind of runs this whole OTS thing and let me run this little operation here. You feel me? Derrick Myers. What's up, brother? How you doing? Look at that little smile. This Celtics fan. Look at him.
Hey,
look at him.
Hey, man. What's going on? Thanks for having me.
Hey, of course, man. Hey, so how about you? You get a little bit of Marvel, a little bit of both. You wish DC was better like me? I don't know where you're at.
Okay, so of course I'm the bigger fan of the Marvel movies. My favorite superhero though is Batman, as you can see in my backdrop.
Okay,
it's my favorite superhero.
I like that.
So I'm torn, but the movies are much better. The cartoons for DC are much better though.
Yes, sir.
The animated films significantly better than Marvel.
That's a debate I plan to bring on with Matthew one day because he doesn't believe me when I say the DC cartoon movies are just as good as the MCU, in my opinion.
Very much so.
I think so. Matt will never agree with it, but I think so. So, last but not least, we have El Padrine, El Panda, Angel, my older brother. What's up, bro? How you doing?
What's going on, man?
Yeah, I know you're big on that Marvel content. We just to give a little back context, right? Matt, Angel, and I have watched every single Marvel project together in theaters right when it came out since Avengers 1. And that's kind of when we started to really fall in love with the lore and a lot of things that are involved with Marvel. So that's back 2010, something like that. So since then, we've every year for 10 years, well, except COVID year, so 9 years, have been at every single project, every single movie. So, hey, we're going to get into this thing. I want to get a little bit of your background and what you guys, kind of like within Marvel. And then we'll get into this WandaVision and do a little thing, review on that. So, Derrick, let's start with you, man. Let's start with you. So I'm curious. And this is a big question because it's not just easy to say. So you said Batman's your favorite character of all. So we're talking just Marvel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who is your favorite Marvel character and why?
Ooh.
And this can be comic or MCU. So obviously MCU is the canon of the movies and then just the comics in general.
I think Wolverine is my favorite Marvel hero. But in the canon, that's hard, man.
It's not that easy a decision to make.
It's not
because they've really done well with all these characters, right?
So, yeah. I like everyone for specific reasons.
Right.
But Black Panther is probably my favorite in the canon. I might have to say that.
Baby, I love it.
It's tough. It's tough because Iron Man is there too. So I don't know. Let me just go Black Panther.
Wakanda forever, baby. I'm good with that. So I'm gonna, with that, I'm assuming this might be the same answer, maybe not. But what's your favorite movie in the canon? So far out of all the movies that have been part of was it 24 projects at this point, right? So including WandaVision. So,
man, I don't even know if I have a favorite movie. It's like everyone just gets better. You know what? Scratch that. Civil War.
I like it.
Civil War.
I like it.
You get to see a little bit of everyone in that film. That's what we got.
Some character development.
Spider-Man.
Right.
I'm gonna go Civil War.
Yeah. Okay, I'm with that.
Yeah.
My man Dwayne.
What's
My man
up, brother?
Dwayne,
What's up?
you've been
What's
wanting to
up?
come up in here for a while, man. So I gotta know. I know you're a Marvel fan, baby. So
For
what's your
sure, for sure.
again favorite Marvel character? And this could be
Okay.
comic or MCU,
Okay.
and favorite movie in the MCU.
All right. So it's kind of a tricky spot for me, right? Because I've actually always been a fan of the X-Men as a whole, right? So like the entire X-Men universe, just like from every last one of them. But like Derrick, Wolverine, probably out of all the X-Men, was definitely always one of my top favorites, of course.
Right.
But like, if we're going individual like hero, I'm gonna take a walk out of the park here, and I'm actually gonna go with Ghost Rider.
Mm.
Ghost Rider's a guy
Wow.
that I really, really dig. I love the mystique of what Ghost Rider is, the ideal of the fact that, you know, he's actually kind of resembling to Spawn to me for some reason, like
Right.
just, like that devil's kind of advocate kind of thing, but
Right.
rebels even against the devil is like, okay, you know what? I'm going against you because, you may have like created me in a way, but you know what? I don't really like you and I don't like what you standing for. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Yeah.
finna like literally take it to you with your own ability that you just gave me, So like,
Right.
I'm
So was that influence? So with Ghost Rider, was that more so influence with the Agents of Shield series, or just looking back to like the Nick Cage movies, or like where?
man, it actually goes even further back to like the cartoon series, man,
Wow.
from the
Okay.
animated series of the
Wow.
90s. I remember
Yeah.
seeing Ghost Rider, I believe, in like I know he was in Iron Man, I think. I know he was I for sure remember seeing him in like because he was a little bit of everywhere. I
Right.
think he had his own cartoon, but I know he was a little bit of everywhere in terms
Definitely.
of I recall seeing him in the Fantastic Four. I recall seeing him in Incredible Hulk for
Right.
sure. So he was a little bit of everywhere, but it was just something about just seeing that flaming skull, seeing that motorcycle, and seeing him in that leather, bro, with the chain just wrapped around, ready to just
Yeah.
light that thing on fire. Like it's always been cool to me. When the movie with Nick Cage came out, I thought it was cool just because it was cool to see on screen. Of
Mhm.
course, looking back at it now, not so much. So I'm hoping that as they reintroduce him, he definitely becomes a lot cooler to me.
Right.
And my honorable mention as far as favorite Marvel character is definitely Blade, and
Mm.
he would probably be the one that I saw where I didn't even know he was a part of the MCU until
Okay.
the movies.
Right.
And when the movies were out in the 90s and I found out that Blade was actually a Marvel character, then that actually raised my intrigue to him.
Right.
So yeah, those are probably the
So,
rebel types that
and
people don't
it's
mention as much.
so obviously I love the Snipes Wesley Snipes Blade movies, but so in the Agents of Shield TV show they had Ghost Rider. That
Mm-hmm.
same actor is going to be getting his own either series or movie in the future MCU. So they're going to make a
So I'm
whole
looking forward
separate
to it.
canon type of thing with that. And also we know a new Blaze coming with Masahiro Ali. So
For sure, for
Wait,
sure.
hold on. The guy that played Ghost Rider in Agents of Shield will get he's going to be Ghost
so
Rider in this
there's a
movie.
Yep.
rumor that he's going to be Ghost Rider in the
Oh,
MCU going forward, and we do know supernatural wise where WandaVision's going, maybe he
Mm-hmm.
ends up popping up in some semblance of the near
yeah.
future. So,
That series was canceled actually.
oh,
It
they
was
canceled the
canceled by
series up.
Marvel. Yeah.
Well,
Oh
man. Well,
man,
maybe he pops up still. Look, I think Ghost Rider, like you said, is a great character. So for sure,
yeah,
I know for sure they got to find a way to bring him back. But
yeah, we're bound
so
to see him.
favorite MCU movie?
Okay, so I was gonna go with what Derek said, and I was gonna go with Civil War because I really did enjoy Civil War. But that's actually my close second. My actual number one is Black Panther, um, because I've seen pretty much all the Marvel movies up to this point,
Right.
and I don't know, man. It just hit a little different seeing Black Panther for some reason. Like the feel of seeing Wakanda come to life like that. To see, the pictures that they painted there, the stories they were telling, like
Right.
it felt different from the rest of the Marvel movies. You know, it felt you almost forgot it was a superhero movie until you actually saw him in the suit, and then you saw a lot of the action scenes. But like, it didn't feel like a Marvel movie at first. You know what I mean? And then in time, you started seeing like, oh, okay. But Civil War is definitely a close second because of like Derrick. It had that mixture. You got to see a little bit of everybody, which was really cool to see on screen. But man, Black Panther just it sticks with
the cultural relevance was great, right? Like the storylines they had, the realistic cultural views of what they saw outside of their country, right? The struggles of the normal Black American, you know, being poor and dealing with poverty, and seeing how, you know, they suddenly, you know, at the end, I think the best part at the end was the end of Black Panther, right? Where they said we're going to try to develop our people and make them just as good as us, you know. That was great for sure. Angel El Panda. Pound you El Panda the rest of this episode. El Panda, what you got? Favorite Marvel character? I think I know the answer, but
my favorite Marvel character has got to be Spidey. That's you know, the kid from New York City that, you know, typically you look at him, not much to see at first, but deep down, he got the smarts, the fight, the loyalty he has to his friends and family. He brings it all together, and what he does in everyday life was to save lives, you know. Not only can he bring you to the streets and use his hands, but he has the smarts as well. So, you know, it's not only just all physical and bash, it's, you know, it's him using his wits and his intelligence to defeat the enemy. So
like
something different than a lot of characters that come along and just use the grit and the grit, you know. So
like that.
Spidey can do it all ways.
So I think you're leaning towards this too, but what was your favorite MCU movie?
My favorite MCU movie gotta be Black Panther, man. It's gotta be. I think this, like what Dwayne was saying, you were saying the cultural relevancy of everything going on in the world at that time. Even nowadays, just what we see in society, just Black people and people of color just on screen at one time. That many people there and that many people acting and doing something so important, not just for, like, you know, the comics and superheroes, but just for people in general, just to see those people and the things they tied into, like John was saying, with poverty and, you know, the cultural ethics of the Black community and everyone coming together, and, you know, it's powerful, man. And Killmonger is probably one of my favorite characters in there.
He was so dope.
Oh,
I mean,
he was so dope.
I'm sorry. I mean, Michael B. Jordan, a phenomenal actor. I mean, I call him the new Denzel, but that's another conversation for a different day.
Okay, I see you, Angel.
But, you know, he took over that role and just made it something that I don't even think the MCU knew or the writers knew was going to happen. Like, I mean, just the quotes he used, and, you know, his you know, his way to adapt to the character was, man, you like, God, I want to see more of this. You know what I mean? So, which I have theories that, you know, he might come back, but that's you know.
I hope so. Look, I'll tell you what. I've
spoken with John and Matt about this multiple times, man. Don't be surprised if Michael B. Jordan pops up again.
Yes,
he wants to do it for his boy Chadwick, man. Rest in peace. But I'll tell you what. Talk about fucking redemption from Fantastic Four movies to now, right? We have original Fantastic Four, and Chris Evans turns into one of the best characters we've ever seen in the MCU. We have the shit show, disgusting whatever thing they tried with the second version of the. I love Michael B, but goddamn, they wrote him so bad. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Either way,
what about Green
but a turnaround.
No.
Definitely don't talk about that.
I mean, you got Deadpool in it.
Definitely don't talk about that. Yeah, you know, talk about redemptions, right? You know, it's all about the writers. It's how those people kind of set those characters up for future projects. And I mean, Michael B. Jordan is, I mean, he has that new movie coming out. I forgot what the name of it was off the top of my head. It's in the Jack Ryan universe, the TV show. It looks phenomenal. I mean,
Without Remorse.
Yes,
yes, and they're giving him a much more of a platform to expand his skills and show what he's able to do on the on the screen. So I want more Killmonger. Top 2 villain for me in the MCU. I'll put it that way.
Oh, easily.
Easily.
Love it.
So
Yeah.
I'll just give you guys my quick MCU project real quick because Matt hates that I like it, and I just want to say it to piss him off. So, Age of Ultron has
Dude.
slowly started to make me love it more and more. Okay, every time I watch, mind you, I'm an addict with this stuff, right? So I can watch these movies over and over and over again, no matter what. It doesn't matter, even if they're shitty, I'll still watch it. Every time I watch it, the relevance, everything that's in there is so relevant to the future of the MCU.
Right.
We have Wanda being created with the Mind Stone, along with Quicksilver. Vision, who obviously them two alone with the WandaVision project, and where we'll talk about those theories in a little bit, but where that's going to lead the rest of the MCU and where the main villain possibly, right?
Right.
Every is Ultron still out there after that movie? Is his mind or his database still somewhere out in the realm of the internet? It was a theory we talked about before on this podcast. Maybe not as like focusing on the fact that movie specifically is good, but how it set everything up for the future.
Oh yeah.
You got to keep increasing that meta score, baby. This is like my opinion. You know what I mean? Like it just keeps going up and up and up. So I'm falling in love with it every time I watch it. It's getting to like the top 3 now. It might be number 1 one day. Who knows? But Matt, you want to give your quick MCU favorite? And no, you can go ahead. Give your comments on my I know you hate it.
No, all right. So we're doing MCU character and movie still,
You can
or
do both. Yeah, you can do both. That's fine.
I would say my favorite Marvel character is Daredevil. I can safely say that
Derrick, he's mad about it. He's like, I forgot. Damn it. I told you guys projects. I didn't say just movies.
God.
I said projects.
I can safely say that Charlie Cox is easily one of the greatest actors I have ever seen work in television. The work that he did over the course of those 3 seasons, even though the second season of Daredevil was inferior to 1 and 3. 1 and 3 literally is the best Marvel content ever released to date.
Hands down.
Marvel movies will never compete with that. None of the Netflix shows even competed with that, except for I would say Luke Cage season 2. But different story for another day.
Man,
and
that's a whole different.
Yeah.
different episode.
But this Daredevil is a character. His backstory is fairly interesting. The way he utilizes his powers, and I think also sort of like the religious themes that the show and the character sort of embodies is very fascinating because it leads to these very intense philosophical debates with some of the villains he faces off against.
Right.
So yeah, and then I would say favorite MCU character. It's going to be a weird one. I would say Rocket Raccoon. And the reason why I say that is because while he does have comedic timing, you can definitely tell, and I'm sure they'll explore this in Volume 3. He has a tragic past. I mean, he was experimented on without his consent, essentially. And I think ultimately, I just found him to be a very interesting character in the comics as well. I mean, he's definitely one who isn't afraid to shed his feelings in the heat of the moment. Volume 2 definitely had a fair share of emotional moments with him where he believed Quill to be dead. He also developed a relationship with Yondu, if you remember, in Volume 2 as well. So I think he's slowly opening up his emotions, and I think he'll easily become one of my favorite MCU characters moving forward. Yeah. And I guess movie would be The Winter Soldier, Captain America Winter Soldier.
So damn good. It's in my top 3. It's in my top 3. I didn't even get my favorite character in well, let's say Marvel. So it's got to be Punisher for me, man. The Netflix Punisher. That boy is brutal. Okay, and they're bringing him back, right? So they said that he's in talks to come back as the Punisher in a different, maybe like a different universe type of Punisher or whatever. But either way, he's coming back. John Bernthal. Loved him in The Walking Dead. Loved him in Punisher. The pure brutalness, his just don't give a fuck about anything and just kill everyone. Love it. Yeah. Love it. It was just so. I'll put it this way: my mom will watch Marvel and then after ask Matt like 1,000 questions because she didn't understand anything. She was texting me every episode of Punisher, like just knowing what's going on. Texting me, "Oh my God, did you see that? He broke his neck in half. He just poked. He stuck his thumbs in his eyes and they ripped out." No, she's like texting me all hype. Like if the casual fan can love him that much, you gotta love him, man.
And see, between the Punisher and Daredevil, the fight sequences in both. But the Punisher was just brutal as hell. But
I love it.
I forget which season it was. I think it was season 2 of Daredevil. that had the best fight sequence that I've seen in Marvel. I forgot, he was like in an apartment building, I think, and then he was like, they had one camera just tracking him the entire time,
whooping ass.
Oh my god! I gotta watch that series again.
I mean, so Derrick, that's the thing is, for those who don't really know Derrick's background, he's big on photography, videography. He understands angles and how to make a scene look better, right? I mean, he does it for the podcast now, and he does it for almost anything he's hired to do. You appreciate how great Daredevil was from a producing aspect, right? So that cinematography in itself made you love it without the content, and then adding that content with it was just great.
A lot of the shots that you see with just fight sequences alone are hard to do. Like those are difficult shoots to have. So to have a one camera track, that is difficult as hell. And it's not cut. From what I remember, that scene was not cut. They didn't splice to a different angle. It was one camera following him. Maybe they pivoted, but I mean, my God, the blocking that was
whoever filmed that physically deserves a raise, because that boy, his arm was looking like this by the end of it. I guarantee it.
He's an award.
And even the shots as well. There was a shot in season 1 where I think Daredevil was attacking someone who was in a taxi, and the camera literally went a full 360 the entire time.
Yes.
And all you hear in the background is just like bone shattering and those kinds of shots, I mean, are purposeful because it's meant to highlight the brutality of the character, because Daredevil is very skillful in his attacks. I mean, not many people can lay a hand on him unless he's completely disoriented.
Right. So, and see that it confused me. I know we're getting a little off track, but the fight choreography with Daredevil and Punisher, how great those were versus Iron Fist, made no sense to me at all. That was the worst. I hope they bring every single one of them back, even Luke Cage, and leave Iron Fist right on Netflix.
It's crazy because we talk like off the pod. Matt and I and Angel and I, all three of us have kind of talked about this for a while. It's how could they do so well? Even Jessica Jones season 1. Jessica was amazing, phenomenal, so good season 1.
Yeah.
And then you can just really fuck that up with Iron Fist. I don't know who messed up or who wasn't involved, but whoever was involved has got to go.
Poor acting.
The actor.
Poor acting. 100%.
I think so. Iron Fist. I don't want to blame the writing, right? You can't blame the writing.
It's not the writing. It's him.
He should have never been Iron Fist in the first place.
Iron Fist. It's not even that. I'm sorry, Dwayne. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, after you, brother. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say he literally admitted in an interview that he would learn the choreography 3 hours before shooting. So he didn't even master the choreography.
It shows.
Literally, he wouldn't learn it.
That pisses me off. Bro. That pissed me off because you finally get the Defenders to come, and it's like, ooh, Jessica Jones, ooh, Cage, ooh, Daredevil. Hey, hi, I'm Iron Fist. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. What the fuck? What are you doing?
They did the character. So Iron Fist is actually, one of my favorite. I don't want to say favorites, but I like Iron Fist character a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But when I saw him as the actor for that, I'm like, what are they doing?
That's probably the only mistake that
they made a huge mistake with that.
Yeah.
And the character could have been so much better if it was just a better actor. Like, not to downplay his acting skills or anything, but
I'm downplaying them.
No, fuck that. But, we can do that.
But it could have been something much more. I think.
Right.
You know who I feel like really would have killed that role personally, but it's kind of double standard since he already killed one role, and like I said, he made me a fan of this character anyway when I wasn't a fan of him. But I feel like my boy Stephen Amell could have did a better job as being Iron Fist than that guy personally. I mean, a guy who's legit, looks the part, legit bad, what I'm saying, knows how to do fight scenes and choreograph them very well, I might add. I'm just saying, I think he could have pulled it off a lot better.
Yes,
but
sir. Yeah, it seems like you're a big CW fan. I might have to have you on for another pod about that if you're down for that. If you're a CW fan, I'm a big CW fan.
Anytime you need me, brother.
Oh man, talk about that any day. Actually, Angel got me into that years ago, back with Arrow. So
the CW shows are go about that all day.
What was that, Derrick?
I said I left off with Smallville. I haven't.
Oh, so Smallville's technically it is part of the previous multiverse, but it's not. Yeah. It's not as integral. You can skip that if you want to.
That's where I left. That's why.
Right. Yeah, you got to get into the Arrow, bro. Oh,
yeah, Dwayne's been talking to me about it for like the last year. I know.
Oh, yeah, man.
You've been in COVID. What you been doing? Turn that shit on. No. Hold on. Time out. He's been doing a lot. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, he's done a lot. It's a little
you got some free time. You're working out. Throw the shit on.
I'm still trying to get this man to check out Black Lightning, from crying out loud. And I was like, come on, bro.
I tried Black Lightning. I didn't enjoy it the first couple episodes. I kind of fell back with it. I was thinking about catching back up.
I heard it gets good.
Try.
I heard it gets really good.
It gets good. Yeah. This current season, I'm still trying to get used to it. But I mean, season 2, 3, they did pretty well. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they said the Crisis event changed it a lot, from my understanding, because he was involved in the Crisis on Infinite Earths, and then obviously they changed the universe a lot. So we'll talk about that another pod. But hey, so I do want to get into this WandaVision though, right? So we do know Marvel just finished off with this final season or final episode of the season of this current WandaVision. Before we get into this final episode, obviously Matt and I have done a few podcasts to catch you up all the way through episode 8 at this point. But I do want your guys' thoughts on anything prior, right, before we get into this final thing. So let's start off, Angel. So in terms of what is your overall opinion of the WandaVision project before digging into anything with episode 9? So how much have you liked it? What would you like to see better, acting wise, all that?
I thoroughly enjoyed it a lot. I think it was a good setup for other things to come. So my worry was, I think I spoke to you about this, was that it was going to be a filler. Just to give people something to watch and make them shut up, just like what they done with other movies and other shows. But it actually turned out to be something that was really good, and it wasn't a filler. It was something that's literally going to set up something that they could build upon in the future. I obviously have a ton of theories, things I want to discuss, but I thought it was great. I thought we saw Wanda super vulnerable, kind of like what we already seen in the MCU movies, but she was able to kind of like stand her ground, and you actually get to see how powerful she really is during the season, and how important she is too. Because a lot of times with characters, they see them one way and they kind of keep them that way. But Wanda, being the weak-minded individual who's in love with some android, they showed you how strong and powerful and independent she could be, and she's not something to walk on. She got something to it.
Man, listen, talk about some it's almost like slowly but surely since Ultron, we've seen significant character development from her, right? Like she's gone from the quirky little scared girl to the super powerful quirky little scared girl to the I'm gonna kill you super powerful. Like it's almost like no matter what, she's the kill girl, right? But at the same time, she's still developing. And the just the pure development of her and where we see in some of those post-credit scenes, which we'll get into a little bit, could set up some pretty nasty things in the MCU in terms of what we think could happen, right? But Dwayne, so overall, WandaVision project, what are you thinking? Is it were you expecting a little more? Were you one of the people a little worried with the first 2 episodes, like, they're not going to do much with this? I mean, kind of what were your thoughts?
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, when they were announcing a lot of the shows, right, that were gonna be coming, WandaVision was kind of one where I was like, I don't know. I like Wanda, I like Vision, but I don't know. Do I really want to see a show about them? Like, I don't know. I was kind of like skeptical at first. And, compared to when they because you know how they do, they release their projects like all at the same time for you to see like what's coming. Right. So you already kind of like, oh, that's got my attention. I want to see this. I want to see that. So WandaVision was kind of like, I don't know what they're trying to go with here. But and then with it being the first, it's crazy because now it seems like they've done kind of what CW did with the Arrowverse, like how Arrow kind of set the tone and the path for a lot of the other shows that came after it. I feel like WandaVision has just done this for the rest of the shows because now, as we know, with Winter Soldier and Falcon up next, like now it's kind of like, okay, well, let's see how you guys do because are you gonna live up? It's a big standard now, right? And it's like, okay, will this live up to what that is right now? Like, are we still gonna have this same edge of our seat waiting for the next week episode? Like, are we gonna have that with this next show coming? Like, it had its slow start, but at the same time, the slow start was more of a not slow start in the show itself, just slow in terms of where are they going with this? Like, what exactly is?
Which was the purpose?
Yeah, which was the purpose, right?
Absolutely. To kind of build us, to keep us wanting to come back every week. I think that was kind of the purpose. I mean, you got to think, guys, like back in the day, we always, every Friday night, new TV show was out. We wanted to watch it. We wanted to catch up, even with the CW, right? Or whatever night it was on. We got away from that. Netflix came out and said, well, here's everything of Daredevil. Yeah. Here's everything of Punisher. Well, I love it, obviously, but like Dwayne says, you can see titles and like, oh shit, Daredevil fucking dies here, or supposed to. You know what I mean? Because if you look at it by accident, you get kind of pissed off. Yeah. How the hell in the year 2021, when we want everything as quick as possible in this world, right? It's as quick as you can, as fast as you can. Mm-hmm. Everybody loved this more than anything we've ever watched on TV, almost, right? Like, I think that was their goal. And Derrick, you can kind of speak on that because I know you want to give your thoughts too. So
I think, and we actually talked about this on Realish this past week, but I think that this is the format of the weekly episodic release. I think that is going to come back because if you think about it, one, with us having this whole thing with the pandemic, everybody's been locked in, right? You kind of want to have something that still creates that buzz and generates that community type of feel. And I think having these weekly episodic releases makes a ton of sense for productions to do in general. Like the binge watching thing, you like if there's someone that can sit and watch a whole season of something within one day, and now they're on Twitter talking about what's going on, that ruins everything for me. You know what I'm saying? So, which is why I don't like getting on Twitter when I'm supposed to be watching something. But
Power, I don't watch Power, but I see that everybody spoils Power.
Yeah,
for some reason, all the time.
I don't understand that. I've never understood that.
And people just purposely are like, you know what? Let's piss off somebody today.
Yeah.
Well, this guy died. Like, dude, stop. Why do people do that? I get so mad.
I don't know. I don't get that. And I love how this set it up because everybody week to week. Now the first 3 weeks, first 3 episodes, you're sitting there. It was like because they released the first 2 episodes, right? Or was it just
the first 2 and then
first 2 and then the third? So those first 2 weeks, like you're sitting there, you're just like, where? Like Dwayne said, where are they going with this? Like this is weird. And like I remember sitting, I'm just like, okay. And then by the end of I think episode 3, I'm like, oh, I'm intrigued.
Okay.
And then you go on to 4, boom, full force. So
when Monica popped up after the snap, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit. They did it. They did it.
Exactly.
I want to see so much more of that. People coming. Yeah. I mean, I had a funny theory with Matt one time. I said, what if people were about to die in an airplane crash and they end up right back where they were?
No.
It's kind of horrible, but like, what if they're about to die and they just get snapped and they're back to the same spot?
That is an interesting point. No, you're right because real talk up in the air, like, woo! Real talk. I'm glad you brought that up, right? Because what's so cool about that particular scene from this season was just the fact that when you take it to Endgame and you look at how Ant-Man, for example, just shows up people thinking he disappeared in the snap, and here he is looking around and he's trying to catch himself up. So he gave us that perspective of what it's been like being trapped in a whole nother realm, for like so long. And he gives us that vibe, but here Monica gives us the vibe of what it's like of the people who just got revived. And it's like, well, wait a minute, where have I been? You feel like you were in literally where you were before the snap.
look at Peter in Endgame. He said, "I feel it's been 10 minutes. How what the hell happened?" So everybody has for them. It's been 10 minutes. Like Monica lost Maria, which I'm so pissed. I wanted to see Maria one more time. I loved her in Captain Marvel. Which obviously it would have been an older version anyway. But I want it's nice that Marvel's seeing that we want more of like the 5 years, right? The 5 years between the snaps.
Oh yeah.
I want as much of that as we can, man. There's like so much I think that happened and different characters were brought up within that time frame. And it's just gonna be great to see. But all right, so I think we do need to get into this little WandaVision episode real quick because some shit happened, and I wasn't as hyped, but I will say off my first preface of this is what a story for Wanda and Vision. So almost like Dwayne said, it's like the content nobody knew they needed, right? Nobody ever, like WandaVision's like love story was like, oh, it's kind of cool, whatever. But it's so much deeper than we ever thought because again, we didn't see a lot of them on the run since Civil War, right? He was in Europe, she was all over the country. Obviously Black Widow's going to show us what was happening with her, but we'll probably never know where Wanda was, right? So they wanted to build that for a reason, build that story up. But so going into this, we obviously know with the first thing I want to talk about is Agatha. So Matt, what's her intent? I mean, so she wanted the powers of Scarlet Witch. I think that's the obvious idea, right? She's absorbing the power. We see Wanda slowly starting to lose her life, right? Like her hands turning black and her body's turning skinnier, all that. Why? So what is the purpose still? Like our previous theory was, is she trying to bring Mephisto back, right? They didn't even bring Mephisto up, which I'm a little pissed about probably. But Matt, what do you think? She wanted the powers, but for what?
Yeah, I mean, I want to say personally, thank goodness Mephisto or Nightmare were not shoehorned in within the post-credit scene, or just like I had a random cameo. It was like, "Hey, Doctor Strange 2, bye!" Like for no reason. So I appreciate that the story was relatively self-contained, even though there are obviously like a few scenes that heavily imply what's to come in the future.
Right.
I think Agatha was either trying to prolong her aging to where she could survive for hundreds of more years, and I mean, she obviously has a Darkhold which contains a bunch of information, possibly regarding the multiverse, for all we know. So perhaps she's trying to pull in these different characters to rule over, like a false reality of some kind. Maybe Mephisto is still existent, and that was her intention, but I think as a villain, she was fine. I think the downside is we never really understood what her motivations were, other than the fact that she just wanted to absorb Wanda's powers. They never really specified as to why that was the case, and I think that's, I wouldn't mind like an exposition dump explaining why she wanted that to be the case. It was kind of like, you're powerful, I want your powers, but why do you want her powers? I mean, you seem powerful enough.
There's
on
a
your
purpose
own.
still. You know what I mean? There's still a purpose. So speaking of the Darkhold, when she said that shit, even though I knew it was a Darkhold, and so I don't know if Dwayne, Derrick, Angel, I know you are, but are you guys familiar with the Darkhold at all? Give you a little breakdown if you're not. So
no, not really.
You remember in Doctor Strange, when Wong and Doctor Strange, or before he actually became Doctor Strange, they were in the library, right?
Yeah.
And they grabbed the book and a page was missing, the page that the main villain stole to try to bring Mardu back into Earth. Remember throughout the whole movie? You remember there was a book missing on the case?
No.
So if something you can look back to, but in that scene, it wasn't what that villain's, I can't remember, what's the villain's name, Matt, from Doctor Strange?
Dormammu?
Dormammu is the main one, but
I have no idea.
The one with the white hair. I can't remember his name.
I have no idea.
He didn't steal that book, so he stole just a page from one of the Sorcerer Supreme's books. But a book is missing, and it's the Darkhold. It's the book that Agatha made appear in that scene when she had the kids.
Oh,
so that's how Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is connected to WandaVision. That Darkhold book is from his library.
Oh, I thought she called it the Book of the Damned.
It is. The Darkhold is the book of the damned.
So it's okay.
So the Darkhold even further back, and this is where I think where Matt kind of speaks to the multiple realities. I think Agents of Shield, that universe, if they decide to bring it into the MCU, is a separate universe, right? So that whole series has nothing to do with the main Earth or what we call Earth Prime.
Right.
In the Agents of Shield season 4, I believe, the Darkhold was used as well.
Okay.
So there's some. Maybe I'm crazy and overthinking the connections, but either way, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, the book is missing. It is the Darkhold, and obviously now at this point we see in the end credits scene, the Scarlet Witch has the Darkhold herself. So that's kind of yes. So that book is a book stolen from the library of the Sorcerer Supreme / Doctor Strange, and that's how that connects. And that's why a lot of people thought he'd be popping up, but obviously, maybe she just pops up in his movie rather than him obviously popping up in the show.
Right.
So the Darkhold is, I mean, what is it? It gives access to multiple realities, the creation of life. So multiple realities, we talk mutants. The mutant universe is a whole different universe. Creation of life. She created her kids.
Yeah.
She created Vision. She's already done that herself. She doesn't even need the Darkhold to do that, right?
Well, yeah, but even with that post scene, the post credit scene, that you heard the kid yelling "Mom." Yeah, so that makes sense.
It's all within that same realm of the witchcraft and whatnot, and it's interesting that they mentioned with Vision, he was like, "What am I?" I think this is one of the best scenes. That last scene where they were finally saying goodbye to each other one last time, right?
Yeah.
It shows like the beginning of WandaVision and what it ended up coming to. But what am I? You're the piece of the Mind Stone that's still in me. The Mind Stone ain't gone, y'all. Like. She's still the Mind Stone in some way or fashion is what she's trying to tell us, right?
Yeah.
So maybe the stones still play a little bit of a factor in these next few years in the MCU. So
I don't want to get too far ahead.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay. So, but Matt, well, let's get to Angel real quick. So, I know you have a theory about with the kids and the Darkhold and all that. So I want to hear about that for sure because I think I know where you're going and I want to hear about it.
So. Obviously, we see in the post-credit scenes that there's two Wandas. We see that, she's Scarlet Witch is in the room by herself. So my theory is simple. Well, not really simple, but it's my theory, I guess. Where Scarlet Witch has gone into this universe looking for more power. So right there is two different Wandas. The Wanda that we know, which was in the pajamas, peaceful. She has her tea, which I was talking to Matt about this. Marvel and these lake cabins is hilarious to me. Like every character has to retire to the lake,
and it's not even modern either.
Old as hell. Like what? She's a fucking Greenland or something.
Now wait, was that with Hawkeye? Was that a lake as well?
That was like a ranch house type thing.
House,
yeah.
Ranch house is kind of
kind of serene.
Thanos goes to another planet.
Yeah.
Wow, how do you find a cabin in a random planet?
A cabin with flowers and a field of flowers, like that's Thanos, bro. Like, but so we see her there, and she's making her tea, whatever, and then we see Scarlet Witch. So my thing is that Scarlet Witch is totally different from the Wanda we know. And you see the circles around her. I think those are the different multiverses. My theory is Scarlet Witch is going between each multiverse to find the different Scarlet Witches or Wandas to gain their power. We hear the kids because her kids are extremely important for the future MCU, which is the Young Avengers.
Yes.
So with her getting the kids and bringing life, in order to bring life, she needs power. So having the different Wandas and going to different multiverses, she'll have the power to have kids. Or create kids to create life.
Agatha, remember this? Like
Agatha's biggest thing was getting power from Scarlet Witch herself, which was our Wanda.
Yes.
The Scarlet Witch that's going between multiverses, she wanted our Wanda to gain power. So she kind of like sat back and watched. The second Wanda became Scarlet Witch, She's like, "Oh, you're mine." So she took her, brought her to peace, the cabin, and you see her manipulating the different. You going through the book, you hear the kids. She's going. So you're gonna see Scarlet Witch go to the different universes and gain these powers, and then that's gonna live up to the Avengers Assembled, where Wanda is evil and the Scarlet Witch is fighting the Avengers and all these different things. So it's interesting. It's fun. It's gonna be great to watch. And my theory has been uh Avengers Assembled. Um, it's kind of like a Civil War type vibe, but
Mhm.
it's basically focused on Scarlet Witch and the power she holds and how she's manipulating the multiverses and how she needs to gain power to defeat her main villain, or not, I would say villain, but her main foe, which will be Doctor Strange.
So
Um,
you think that
so
would take place in the next phase?
I think that will take place in the next phase. We still have to play out this phase. So like Doctor
Yeah.
Strange, his movies will be super important with the multiverses and things like that. I guess with the Spidey movie, they're gonna have the different characters and multiverses. But Scarlet Witch is kind of like the puppet master right now, where she's the one manipulating these multiverses. She's the one going between each one. And my theory is just to gain power, to have those kids and to, be strong enough to defeat Doctor Strange. Um, so because you can think about it, like when the kid screamed, "Mom, help!" or whatever, that's a totally different one set of kids screaming that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
she's
yeah.
going through the multiverses, searching and seeing who's up next to go get. So she's gonna be traveling these multiverses. Like once she,
I
because you
like
gotta think
that.
about it, once she heard the kids scream that, she closed the book because
Hmm.
she's off to that universe now.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
look, I will say one thing real quick. Marvel is known to twist the comics a little bit so you
yeah, they
don't know
are.
what's coming, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
that's that
yeah,
I love that because you don't want to know
yeah,
what's always coming.
Mhm.
yeah.
But I will say Agatha throughout the entire comic. I mean, you can pull any comic that Agatha's in. She is not a villain. She trains
Mm-mm.
Wanda,
See,
and
Mentors.
she kept one. She kept one. She meaning Wanda kept Agatha around for a reason.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Bring her back. Hey, I'm trying to do this. How do I do it? Or hey, I'm trying. She's gonna play an integral part.
Okay,
So
so
so Agnes has her own evil intention though.
Right.
So
I just don't think she's a
it,
main villain in a sense. Right.
so I think she cares more for Wanda only because she understands that Wanda is like queen, like she's the most powerful one. So she's kind of like gonna baby her into being on her side. But Agnes's intention is to rule everyone, everything. Like she wants to be the most powerful. She wants to be stronger than Strange and more powerful than Scarlet Witch. And she understands that Wanda is the Scarlet Witch, who's obviously the most powerful witch there is. But um Agnes, in no right, is cares about Wanda or wants her to be, she's just what she did was make sure her powers come to life, but she realized she wasn't that powerful. So
okay, so with the hex closing or essentially like disappearing,
Right.
if Wanda um made Agnes stay in that state, with it closing, where is Agnes at that point? Because
She'll be staying in Westview. I think
she's staying in
she's the
Westview.
only one changed and staying in that character, if you call it. And I
Oh,
think
because
she's
she
keeping
cast a
her
spell.
right, and she's stuck. And then they put that protect. I
Gotcha.
think she's probably left a protection spell around Westview, so she can't use her powers. Is my
Gotcha.
assumption. Because
Gotcha.
remember,
Okay.
she turned her powers off and put that spell up.
Gotcha.
So Dwayne, I need your thoughts on something. Do you think, as far as we all know Quicksilver was back in a way, but it was a neighbor slash. What was the point of that? I mean, is that really to show us that the X-Men universe is a thing in another universe, or Is that literally just a random guy named Ralph that she just turned into Quicksilver to make it funny? I mean, that if that's the case, then I'm kind of a little pissed off about that. I mean, because you're a big X-Men guy, right? I'm sure you watched the Fox Universe X-Men movies. So do you think that there's a way?
Yeah.
Well,
unfortunately,
I'm a low-key fan. Matt hates that I am.
As a true X-Men fan, I hated them.
Fair enough, but
there was only maybe one that I liked, and that was Days of Future Past, because that was the only accurate one.
Absolutely, I love that one too. Do you think Agatha using him specifically was still an intent to show that the multiverse exists?
That's a good question. I will say yes, but also going back to your theory about Marvel and twisting comics and and what they're doing right now in this MCU, I feel like they're just kind of pulling people's legs a little bit to tease the idea. Maybe this was an experiment to see how people would react by pulling someone from a different universe per se, and pulling them in to see what kind of reaction they get. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because again, I mean, Agatha did kind of was like, oh yeah, I can't pull your real brother, and besides it's hard to pull a guy with a bunch of bullet holes in him, so I had to get this guy. I felt like that was their little cover up to try to cover up the fact that they just borrowed a guy from another universe real quickly, to where they're like actually planning on doing that in some way, shape, or form. Because who knows? You could see Hugh Jackman. You could see. You just never know with the way this thing is shaping up right now at this point. But I really do think they are trying to set up slowly, especially with what we just said about Wanda and these different multiverses that she's playing with. And when you look at Doctor Strange and Spider-Man for sure and what they're about to show us, you're going to slowly start seeing a little bit of everybody. You're going to see some of those Netflix Netflix Marvel people probably pop up, you just never know. It seems like I think we're going to get a little bit of that in every project going forth. We may even see that really with Winter Soldier and Falcon. You just never know. You may see somebody all of a sudden and you're like, hey, what are you doing here?
Wait a second. That's definitely the Punisher.
WandaVision has totally set up something here where I think now it's about to open some floodgates of you're seeing whether it's just a cameo or it's a full-on role of certain actors who played a particular Marvel character from a separate universe in the movie or TV realm. So,
no, I feel like that has to be him because how else does he have that ability?
Like, why do that?
Yeah, like that doesn't make
you know what I mean? I mean, I know that necklace that she had on was giving him power, like I guess controlling him, but does that mean he didn't have powers?
I think that was also his mind, though. Like it was just
right. Matt, what's your theory on that? Like the necklace didn't give him powers, right? Or did it?
I honestly, I was so pissed off when I saw that. I literally like paused the screen. I don't know. Can I use profanity on here on the podcast?
Yeah, you heard Jonathan.
You would have been banned from platforms a long time.
Yeah, literally. Like, who the fucking Marvel thought that was a good decision? Literally, zero reason for them to do that. They could have casted any person, literally any person. Bring back Aaron Taylor Johnson. If Wanda can just create people out of thin air, she can bring back Aaron Taylor Johnson's character. You can literally bring a freaking hobo out of nowhere, have him be Quicksilver. Why cast Evan Peters? That was so stupid. And you want to know why? He isn't the real Quicksilver. It's just Marvel saying, ha ha, giving us the finger and saying, you dot. And then, like teasing the idea. Jesus, sorry, I had to rant on that. That was
you're good.
easily the worst part of the episode, and it irritated me because like I wanted them to like imply like, hey, this might actually be the person, or like, God, all the effort just to have him be a one note cameo.
Dwayne, I need your assistance with this little theory of mine.
Okay,
because you're a big CW fan, so I need you on this one.
Okay.
We all know Crisis on Infinite Earths, right? The
Mhm.
idea is there are multiple Earths within the universe, and the crisis is bringing almost every Earth together to Earth Prime, and then
Mhm.
still having a few Earths around that, right?
Mhm.
Do you think that's where they're leaning in Marvel or with the MCU? So, do you think is it easier to just suddenly say, well, mutants are here now, or X-Men are here now, or another theory I had was with the snaps, right? So we
Mhm.
all know Wanda and Pietro's powers came from the Mind Stone. My theory is every snap that happens causes massive genetic mutation in all humans or any species for that matter, right? You come back, you're gone, you cut whatever every snap that happens. So we in this case we have what three snaps. We have Thanos killing everybody,
Mhm.
Thanos destroying the stones,
Mhm.
and Stark snapping to bring everybody back.
Right.
Did that power in itself activate the mutant gene? Because we know the power of the Mind Stone activated the mutant gene, or at least an enhancements is what they call it now, in
Mhm.
Quicksilver and Wanda. So could that generic energy be the reason why the mutants come, or are they going to go on a crisis kind of thing and bust all the Earths together?
You
Either
know,
would work.
either does work. But I actually kind of think I think that hex might have something to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
Given the fact that we just saw where, you know, Monica got her powers through this thing.
I'm so happy she did.
Okay. Her
We
it
need
was
more black
clear.
superheroes, man. Bring them
You
all.
saw, like you saw, right? Yeah, you saw those genetics change, right?
Mm-hmm.
So who's to say? Think about how long a lot of those people were in Westview.
Mm-hmm.
And now we just saw Wanda literally remove this hex. They're somewhat back to normal, but who's to say, for all you know, especially with as long as they've been in there, because Monica, we don't really know how long she was really in there per se.
Right.
From her start, we don't really know how long she was in there, but we knew she wasn't there that long based off how, the perception was that, oh
Right.
yeah, she's not really she's new here. So the thing about it is that hex honestly could play a big factor in the mutant gene because for all we know, the people who've been stuck in Westview and that version of it for so long, genetically it probably changed them to where now
Right.
you may start seeing some mutants.
Her power was
It could
able
be
to do so much.
like a kickstart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's
My bad.
it's they spoke to it in the one past scene when she was in Sokovia, with Stark's bomb. She still
Mm-hmm.
had it in there. There's just nothing to escalate it, right? Almost like a
Right.
steroid to make it come out.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree, and I think definitely like I would like to see some kind of like reality busting together because I think there's just it's almost too late to just bring mutants in that easy. Either way,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Marvel will do it the right way. I hope so, at least. They didn't do it right with this Quicksilver thing, but hopefully with the MCU stuff in general, it'll work itself
I
out.
think they'll fix that.
They
I
gotta
Yeah, I
fix
think
I
something.
think
again,
they
They gotta
added
fix something.
Quicksilver just to mess with us.
Yeah,
I think it was
agreed,
one of those things where it's like, you know what, let's just toy with them a little bit. It's
agreed.
had because instantly I remember me, John, and Matt were talking about it, and I'm like, yo, that just confirms multiverse.
Yeah.
And then all of a
hmm
sudden, this episode, you're like, oh, it's just some regular guy that got some powers from a damn necklace.
And
honestly,
So,
I would have been
like,
100% fine if Kevin Feige just came out and that scene just walked in the room and went like this
yeah.
because they basically did that anyway. Like you should have just walked in the room
and
and flipped
it's
us off.
and
There was
it
no reason to do that.
yeah,
There's no reason to
and
do that.
it's and it's not even that too. Like he was introduced in episode 5, so we literally had 3 more weeks,
Of
or
this torment.
no, 4 more
torture.
weeks.
Yeah.
You know what? How about this?
Of
3 more
torture.
weeks of podcast content.
Yeah.
No,
You know?
I'll say thank you to Feige for that. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
Um,
I I don't know, man. We're gonna see what Wanda does. Obviously, her powers are able to do similar, if not more, things in the Mind Stone itself. And hopefully we just get some mutants through that. Look back to the comics though. Maybe they do some semblance of it, but a little bit opposite, right? Back in the
Mhm.
comics, in Angels Assembled timeline, The X-Men are involved, but Wanda kills 90% of all mutants. Like they're gone, literally gone. So maybe she brings them, but also kill. Like it's gonna be freaking nuts. Talk about
But
the multiverse.
kind of like what Dwayne was saying with, how the Hex kind of kickstarted the power, or might be kickstarting their powers. Wouldn't it make sense that just something like that would happen, where she can kill all those mutants, and she does have the ability to do that? And my theory with the Avengers Disassembled is literally what's happening now, where the mutants are starting to get involved, and obviously with She-Hulk coming soon, and all these characters coming into fruition, that hey, like this is happening. So I say strong in my Avengers Assembled thing, but it's kind of matching where I'm thinking, but
yeah,
I don't know. Marvel has this weird way of just like adding something that'd be like, what the hell is going on? Like
you thought,
yeah, like I don't know.
My only question though is timeline, right? So, if this Hex, if Wanda in general has something to do with creating mutants, how does that explain Charles Xavier and Magneto?
So I think that has to do with the multiverse. So I necessarily don't think she created mutants. I think like in her timeline, in our Wanda's timeline, it's mutants were created maybe possibly through the Hex, right?
Mm-hmm.
Through Scarlet Witch's timelines, there's a universe with Charles Xavier and mutants who were born mutants and things like that, and it kind of all tie together into one. Okay. Kind of like what John was saying with CW shows, and like how or the DC comics where all Earths combined into one.
Right.
Okay. A battle like that is gonna happen.
Okay.
There is going to be a multiverse battle.
Okay.
Where, not to say like, oh, one world has to beat the others, but it's gonna happen. That is, they're planning to do that, so that to combine everything to one. So Charles Xavier's mutants are going to be involved, but their mutants might not be the same as the ones that our Wanda knows. But Scarlet Witch, like I said, is the puppet master to everything. That's why she's so important. That's why, Marvel really wanted to push this show, because she's gonna tie in everything. It's gonna make sense.
Right. And even if it's not necessarily the X-Men universe mutants, they could just start a whole new mutant universe that we start to see on a different Earth.
And that's where the Hex comes. That's what
she's able to just snap it all into one thing, kind of like Dwayne's saying, for sure.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I think for me personally, I think they should establish that mutants always existed, but they never. But because you have to keep, I'm sure Dwayne can comment this further, seeing as always. Obviously, you're a huge advocate for X-Men as well. In the comics as well. I mean, there's a gene had to be active. Like that gene had to activate in some capacity. So I think mutants were always around. They just, from a business standpoint, they just weren't legally allowed to say the word mutants.
Right.
Hence why you only hear Wanda saying, or Agatha saying, there was something inside you. What was it? I think Scarlet Witch, it was a mutant. And the Mind Stone obviously triggered the powers, and possibly whether it be Wanda or some other like cosmic level event that will ultimately trigger the gene within all these mutants, and then will eventually lead to the X-Men. So I think it's as simple as that, really. I don't even think they're really pulling in multiverse. I think there is a Charles Xavier, there is a Magneto. I have to explain continuity wise, like why on earth were they like not around? You know what I mean? Like, why did not help the Avengers or any of
that? Yeah.
Listen, I'll tell you right now, I got two little quick theories or just comments. Galactus is coming. All right.
Yeah.
And if they want to go the Galactus route, and they want to go along with that, the multiverse route, here's the mutant Earth, here's your Avengers Earth. Whoever wins gets to survive. I'm eating the other planet. Galactus can fuck shit up, and he's going to.
Man.
So if we go to the Disassembled,
well, now that's a good one. That's a good one.
But
But
Galactus don't play, boy. He just
hey. But see, I see where you're going there, and I like your Galactus theory here. But I'd like to take you back to Thor Ragnarok, my friend. There was a certain collector, champion, if you will. Yeah. Now, what better way to contest multiverses than with, a collector, a champion, someone. I mean, of course, Jeff Goldblum. I mean, hey, funny as that guy is, we also know he was pretty serious at the same time. That character didn't just die off or anything. I mean, he is still around and still floating. You could easily bring him in there to do something like that if you want to go that route. That is, taking the best of the best. Who's the best from each multiverse? Let's have them battle it out.
Have him be like maybe Galactus is like, I won't eat you if you just do this for me and play the puppet. You know what I mean? Like Puppet Master.
Yeah, who knows? You never know. It can all tie back to Galactus.
Yeah.
Or just a massive battle. See, you gotta fight for your Earth. Something like that.
Damn.
Yeah.
The winner all Earth.
Give me that.
Go the Dragon Ball Z route. I like that.
Yes, hell yes.
I mean, they could turn it into a massive tournament where they have our Earth's best superheroes versus your best superheroes, and I know that's something that has been rumored where you have like the Fantastic Four guys get put into battle, and then you have some like the Avengers get put into battle. And then you have, all these different the mutants and things like that. So that is actually part of kind of like a series where that is brought up where they kind of fight to figure out who's the better Earth, I should say. So like there are things like that where Galactus is a major part, and that makes sense. And he kind of is sick way of having like his fun of seeing these people fight and who's gonna survive,
Galactus is crazy enough to say, you know what? I know I told you who wins will survive, but I want the more powerful planet instead.
Yeah.
He's a major villain, man.
Yeah.
Like aside from the universe
he'll
itself,
he'll get rid of the planet that gives him the worst threat.
Right.
And
100%.
You know what but I think we're also missing a certain character, Dr. Doom. I think we have to remember. I honestly think, I think Derrick as well. You're a fan of you like the Zack Snyder Justice League.
Oh yeah.
So you understand the references.
Not the Justice League.
Sort of like, yeah. Well, like Batman,
I haven't seen his Justice League yet.
Right.
We gotta give that a little bit of time. I think it might be good, but we'll see.
Yeah, but you're aware of the characters, obviously.
Yeah.
And like in Batman vs Superman, for instance, like Luther mentions the Mother Box's Dark Side. I think Dr. Doom will act as that type of character to where he will be defeated by the villains, but he'll say to them, "There's a threat larger than mine. Good luck." And I think Galactus will literally cause like a post-apocalyptic scenario where villains and heroes literally have to work together to defeat them. I honestly think,
and that's how Killmonger comes back, and I'd love it.
Oh man,
can you imagine?
Well, I think Killmonger's gonna end up coming back anyway because
he has to.
I think my theory is that Black Panther either went ahead and just put him into the pit. I don't see how
when Marvel doesn't show bodies, it means they're off. I mean,
yeah. So I think he's definitely coming back, but I like that theory.
I think they're definitely leading towards something big. So Angel, let me ask you this real quick. As far as simpler question, what is the multiverse of madness to you? Is it as simple as Wanda's breaking everything, I need to fix it? Or is it, a lot of these different villains are hopping into his universe? Maybe he jumps in and helps in Spider-Man and helps Spider-Man out.
I think the madness
is the multiverse of madness. What is the
madness?
madness?
I think the kind of what you just said, the multiverse is the madness. Opening up kind of like these portals for different things to happen all at once. And, a lot of these villains or superheroes coming into one area or going through the portal or going through, it causes chaos, causes madness. Like, where am I? Why am I here? Spider-Man's that movie's gonna be so important because with all the, with Toby being involved and Garfield being involved in the movies, they're kind of the my theory with that is they're gonna kind of be like, why am I here? Why am I being sent here? Why, like, how am I here? Um, so yeah, the madness part is just literally causing chaos through all the universes, basically. Kind of like this weird type of portal type thing was like, how'd I get here?
So, Matt, I got a question for you too. As far as so we know in Spider-Man Far From Home, which you're not a fan of, I know, but
sorry,
Spider-Man Far From Home, we know that Nick Fury / Talos, we all end up knowing it's a scroll. It's not Nick Fury actually, but Nick Fury says Doctor Strange is unavailable. So Dwayne and Derrick, I don't know if you guys know, WandaVision is right after Endgame, 3 weeks after Endgame, and well before Far From Home. So it's in between Endgame and Far From Home.
Okay.
Why is Strange? So are we thinking Doctor Strange Multiverse Madness is going to be right after WandaVision, before Far From Home? Because if we're also thinking, I'm going a little further, the third Spider-Man is going to be part of a multiverse scenario. How long is Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness? I mean, and why was he unavailable if Multiverse of Madness was not between Far From Home and Endgame?
Well, that was supposed to be the case because you remember they had to switch the release schedules for these television shows. So WandaVision was meant to lead into Doctor Strange. Wait, hold on, let me think. Yeah, WandaVision was meant to lead to Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man 3 would have released in like July. They used to secure a summer release date.
Yeah, because Strange should have been out already, right? At this point. Or almost.
I think so. Almost. They are around there. Yeah. All signs. But I think, I think Doctor Strange 2, this takes place after WandaVision. Takes place after WandaVision. Because how on earth does S.H.I.E.L.D. or characters like Mysterio know that the multiverse exists? They have to in some capacity. That isn't a concept they can simply say, oh, I definitely, I understand, completely understand. I know the direct science, the idea that there are different versions of myself. Like that isn't some type of knowledge off the top of your head. So
Strange had to been the one to tell Sword or tell S.H.I.E.L.D. that the multiverse exists in some fashion, right?
Not necessarily. I think people are aware. Like there are quite a few people are aware. Like I don't even think Strange had to tell them. I think they
just based off Westview. You think?
What was that?
Just based off of Westview. So what happened with Wanda?
Not even. I just think that whatever happens to Doctor Strange 2 will make like these major like government organizations like aware that there's.
So that's what I'm saying. So you think Multiverse of Madness is the reason why people in Far From Home know about the multiverse? Dwayne, Derrick, and Angel, a theory in the previous spot. I don't know if you guys remember or not, but obviously in Far From Home, Mysterio used the multiverse as his reason to act like he's a hero, right? He wasn't actually from a multiverse. He used that. But why was it believable, right? Because, and our theory is because of what happened in WandaVision / Doctor Strange 2. Because in what world would Sword or Nick Fury or Talos or whoever's involved with Sword, why would they just, this guy's saying he's from the multiverse, let's believe him, right? There's got to be something else involved with that. So, speaking to kind of what Matthew just said, I think it's going to definitely be something where Doctor Strange is, whether he pops up to Fury and says, "Yo, everything's fucking breaking. I don't know what's going on. I'm out. I won't be here for a while." And then that's how Fury knows that the multiverse exists, or Talos in this case. But it's all going to tie together. I'm still not sure how the timelines are going to work out. I think they're trying to catch us up in real time. And it kind of works, right? So like real time, I think they're in 2023 at the moment. We're very close to being in 2023 ourselves. So they can catch up fairly quickly with the 5-year gap. So, we'll see how it goes. But, Matt, so as far as, I want to ask you quick about White Vision. Okay. So we have the new Vision that popped up. Obviously we know Sword used the powers of Wanda to recreate Vision's body, the real Vision, not the fake Vision that was created by Wanda. How about that Ultron scene? That was literally the same thing as the Ultron scene when they're both floating and talking to each other and spinning around the circle. That's a callback to again. This is why you gotta love Ultron more and more. There's always callbacks to this fucking movie. I have no idea why. But so do you think White Vision will be what like? So he remembered everything. We saw like his memory get placed in by the fake Vision. Is he gonna be with Wanda? Like, does he see himself as that Vision now? Like, what do you think is going on?
Oh, eventually. I know in the comics, when White Vision was really created, he had a very like callous mentality, and and literally said to Wiccan and Speed in the comics, "I'm not your father. I honestly don't care about you." So I think that would be a rather dark direction to take Vision as a character. So
Right.
they ended up just doing a reverse and allow them to regain those kinds of memories, so he can perhaps in the future develop that sort of
Right.
like relationship. I was actually curious. Just a question I want to ask Angel and Dwayne. I was curious, like as a relationship as well. I mean, do you see Wanda and Vision's relationship being sustained over the course of the MCU? Like, do you think this is something that they want to continue exploring, or would it be more like we'll have them isolated and focus on Wanda here and then Vision there? Like, do you think they'll flesh it out in the future?
Angel, why don't you take this one first, brother?
uh, I think if they just continue with it, it's gonna get tacky. Um, I kind of think we've already seen what we needed to see with that relationship already. Um, I don't see much significance of them being together. I mean, I'm sure like towards the end there's gonna be like a reconnecting type thing, like Wanda finally got what she always wanted was Vision and happy family and not something that's exactly made up anymore. Um, but to just string along and you know continue with Vision's fighting to find Wanda and Wanda's still doing things because of Vision. I don't know. Okay, like you know what I mean? It's just like like we kind of already seen like the best of the relationship kind of thing, like or what could happen if things are in a perfect world for Wanda. Um, I think I want to say corny, but I guess I can't say corniness of it would be like towards the end of everything. The last phase, you see Wanda and Vision live happily ever after. Um, but that's not for any, that's not for a while. And to have different movies or different shows just based off of them, I I think that would be tacky.
Hmm. Wow. Um, you know what? The way I'm leaning towards this, based off what I saw, because this was actually probably one of my favorite parts of this entire episode, was to see, as Jonathan mentioned, the recreated scene of Vision and Ultron, which I made that Ultron tie the moment I saw the White Vision reprise anyway, because as soon as I saw the blue, I said, "Oh, that's Ultron." It's like when I saw the blue in White Vision, I said, "That's Ultron." They just took Ultron's technology and just created that. And then this Vision, given the fact that, well, it's fake Vision, but it's the Mind Stone that's within Wanda that's creating this Vision. Mind Stone and Vision, there you go. And so I kind of saw that coming. I actually thought for a second there they were going to kind of merge, but they still did in a way, because just from the touch of them, that is kind of basically merging in a way. So I honestly think this is, even though he has the memories now, I think this is going to be complete. They're going to be kept completely apart from each other, like for a while. Because based off what we see with Wanda right now and what she's up to, since there's two of them, unless they're taking that other Wanda that's sipping on her coffee, which I don't think anybody cares to see that. The Wanda we're seeing right now is on a whole different level of, a mission. And this Vision was on course, and it looked like he's probably going to get revenge or something. I don't know, because he didn't know anything until this Vision was like, allow me to kind of remind you of who you are, and this kind of stuff. So it's quite possible both of them are going to be kept apart with their own separate stories to tell. The only way I see them possibly bringing this romantic aspect back anytime soon is if Marvel plans on doing a season two of WandaVision. If they're going to do a season two, you obviously got to bring this back somehow to tell more of a story beyond that. But that's the only way I see that really just kind of reconnecting. I think they're really going to break these two apart very slowly. Of course, the love's still there, the memories are there, but the actual on-screen romance of it, I think it set
Yeah.
its course. It did what it had to
I
do.
agree with that a lot. Um, I just think like if they do a WandaVision season 2, it's got to tie in more of the kids, um, and then have them break off into something different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I agree with you 1,000%. Like I don't see another romance on screen unless it's gonna be like a final goodbye, or like a goodbye to Wanda the character, Scarlet Witch the character, whatever. Um, just to have her get her piece, like kind of like how Iron Man got his piece, and Captain America finally got his piece. So
Yes.
Scarlet Witch will get her piece by having Vision. Um, but that's not until further down the line.
She's still gotta fuck some shit up.
Yeah, she's still, I mean, she still has to set Hellfire, but I mean, she's this. I'm excited for this. When I seen that post credit scene, I know I'll keep on going back to it, but when I seen all that stuff going on with that post credit scene, I'm just like, yes, like I just continue that type of hype and like let's get this going because it's gonna be good. And I think to add Vision back in the mix on screen is just gonna be, it'll take away from that, you know.
Look, people. I got distracted. I thought my door just opened by itself. I was about to freak out for a second.
It's the most
Scarlet?
The
I know, right?
multiverse.
It's fucking Wanda right now. Shit, yeah. We just gotta keep looking at like Scarlet Witch is powerful as hell. Okay, before she actually became the Scarlet Witch in WandaVision officially, she was holding Thanos back with one arm. I mean,
she
5 Infinity Stone Thanos.
Yeah.
Okay. And then in Endgame, she's whooping his ass.
Yeah.
I mean, this boy's like, send the ship down. Like,
they've said that Wanda would have killed Thanos if it wasn't for.
Yes, she would have. Bro, Wanda. Now pissed off Wanda with Scarlet Witch powers. It's over.
They said they couldn't write having Wanda be the one. So what I mean? So like it had to be it had to be Iron Man or it had to be Cap.
It's just, they're sleeping on the power of Wanda in the sense of what she can really do. I think she might be considered a villain already, right? Like, I think even with her kind of safe. In the end, love Wanda, love the story. She's the fucking villain of WandaVision. I mean,
well, she started the
pass for being upset. I mean, you tore the lives apart. You tore the lives apart of everyone in Westview because you're upset. I mean, she's the villain. In the end, Agatha did nothing but come there or get in the area because she felt that power, right? So yeah, she was a villain in a sense. She was like against Wanda, but we saw that Scarlet Witch is technically the villain. It might be going forward, especially now with the end credit scene. Like Wanda is the villain. Period. It's scary as hell because she's powerful as shit. That's the problem. Yeah. And I think that's kind of where we're headed. Is she's going to be the villain going forward. She's I think Scarlet Witch, and then so I'll call Scarlet Witch the evil one and Wanda the good one. Wanda's just kind of chilling, but Scarlet Witch is doing her dirty work to get ready to for Doctor Strange 2. What's going to happen in there. I still think.
Well, the image of Wanda being a villain started in Age of Ultron.
Right. Oh, 100%. 100%.
So like
she was never truly a hero. She felt out of place as a hero. I mean, going to Civil War.
Scared of her. People have already been scared of her since then with the whole bombing and things like that.
Right.
And just scared of her powers in general, because you gotta think about it. Like what normal person will look at some girl flying in the air with her hands and being a witch and what I mean? And then all of a sudden she just took over an entire town and made people forget reality or block them out of reality. So like it just adds to the evilness and her villain kind of look. And it's gonna make her be hated even more. Like she was saying to Monica, look how they're, they hate me, or, and then Monica quickly was like, oh no, they don't understand your pain, or they don't understand why you did, or how much you helped them. Well, one, Monica is like, she annoyed me during the show only because she was defending Wanda so much. Like, no, lady, she just took these innocent people and made them her pawns. like why are you defending her?
That's kind of what I'm speaking to.
It's Android as a husband.
It's like they'll never know what you sacrificed. Like, fucking
know.
Like, you really just held an entire town at them. Like, what? Like,
you're literally making them, like,
all the respect,
suffer.
Jesus.
So
if I'm one of those village people standing there, and if I hear Monica say they don't understand your pain, I'm gonna be like, "What the fuck wrong with you, bro?
Yeah,
I haven't seen my kid in a month. Like, I don't care about Wanda's pain. That's kind of,
and that's kind of like why Wanda wanted to leave and go to the lake, kind of thing, where she wanted to escape and be free. And
so, Dwayne, what were you kind of thinking?
I was gonna piggyback off of Angel's theory and thoughts there, and I was gonna say it's amazing you said what you just said there, brother. Because what does that sound like to you? That sounds exactly like the everyday life of the Civil War going on between regular humans and mutants.
Yes.
Therefore, this indirectly just planted how the mutants are actually just randomly coming about. The fear, the aspect. If they fear Wanda, they're going to fear these mutants, because what I really enjoyed most about this is how similar Wanda is to a very certain individual that I also love very, very much. Yes, you gotta see where I'm going with right here. A certain individual who, much like Wanda, battles within herself and the very powers that she has that are a lot deeper than her own actual powers, in terms of Miss Jean Grey and the Dark Phoenix. So this dynamic right here is just telling me that much more how much closer we are getting to the X-Men universe and where is
I think we're kind of there already. I think with Fantastic Four has already been kind of confirmed, already confirmed, but already mentioned with Aerospace Engineer. And then we got the mutants. I listen, I love it. Your theory with the villagers becoming mutant thing makes complete sense, because one, it'll kind of be like an extra FU to them, like, yeah, you guys are terrified of Wanda and all that, but then also you guys are gonna be mutants just like her. So it's like,
slowly start seeing them change, you know what I mean? Like, I could see where, depending on, it's just a matter of where they would do this, but like, you could take some of those familiar faces, and you could incorporate where they do finally see their families, and hey, back to normalcy. So you think,
and all of a sudden you start getting powers.
And then now you're like, where did this come from? And then now they're mad at Wanda because you did this to me. Now I have powers, and then Mutant Jean just continues.
And then here comes Charles Xavier coming in from the multiverse to help them with their powers.
Exactly.
So I mean, you guys have mutants in your Earth.
I have
I'm
a
here
quick
from my
theory
Earth to help you.
I don't think the Sokovian parents of Wanda and Quicksilver are actually their parents. I think
nope.
I think Magneto
is
adopted or put them up for adoption. The guy who would be Magneto in the MCU, right?
I agree.
I don't think those Sokovian parents, I think he just took them to a random ass country and said, put them up for adoption. And Magneto's actually the father.
And we do know
so
that
whoever is what's Magneto's real name?
Maximus, I believe it's because that's what's funny is her last name is Maximoff, right?
Right.
Yes.
And Magnus is what they call Magneto. That's where Magneto came from.
Right.
His first name, which that's
what I'm saying. So. I think that Jean again is in him, maybe. And remember, Magneto for the most part is usually an older character. So they can go ahead and give this older guy powers now, right? Like they absolutely can do that. So maybe that's how they get this. They bring Magneto in. Maybe he's in the MCU, just not Magneto yet.
Yeah.
You know,
and even with the parents, like teaching them English, like why would they need to learn English? They got an entire
that's true.
There's an entire war going on outside. You see the mother look outside, and there's literally people getting shot, and then they're inside watching sitcoms to learn English. What is the importance of learning English? Why is that so important? Why is it that America is such a big thing to them already? Because the Stark bomb came in after they're already watching the shows.
You're right.
So it's not like the Maxwell twins learned how to speak English to have revenge on Stark. They're already learning it. So I
definitely think they're looking to bring in the mutants sooner than later. Kevin Feige just announced that he's producing for the Mutants movie that's not called X-Men. I think it's just called The Mutants.
The Mutants.
And they'll suddenly will bring the X-Men in at some point. And I kind of the genericness of it makes me think that these random people are just going to be that we've seen so far are going to be these mutants, right? Yep. To some degree. And maybe the main characters come from the multiverse or whatever. But
see, the only thing about that is that a lot of those people, especially the main characters of Westview, are older.
Right.
So who would those people be?
Guess we're gonna find out.
I don't think there'll be anyone. I think there'll just be their own thing, random people that have gotten powers. Like they could have died from having the gene. Right. They could have been.
I mean, Dwayne, you even know
maybe
from
their kids,
they're not involved in like the X-Men.
Yeah. I was gonna say another universe, which is funny because we talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we talk about all of these different shows. Another show that I quite frankly actually found to be very good, which by the way got canceled, and there's a reason for that. There's a show by the name of The Gifted. Now it's funny you mentioned that because you said the mutants. You could take stuff from The Gifted. You could take some of the characters from there, which, by the way, Magneto's other daughter is also the lead from that very show. So you could take that actress if you wanted. You could find a way to migrate her in here. Next thing you know, suddenly you've got all of Magneto's children. Well, unless they find a way to resurrect Quicksilver. Not so much for him right now, unless they're gonna do this. We're still trying to figure that one out right now with him. But in terms of his daughters right now, we see Wanda and what's going on with her, and those dots will get connected at some point. But again, Magneto also has a second daughter, so there's the fact that she could also be adopted, or maybe she's under Magneto directly. Maybe she's the only one to get raised by him. And again, just there's ways that things can get incorporated, but it's gonna be very, very cool to see how all of these dots connect. Shout out to Marvel, shout out to Disney, always keeping us guessing, trying to figure out which they had to cancel these shows based off Marvel for a reason. So somehow they're gonna find ways to merge these in some kind of way. So stuff like The Gifted, just remember those shows and kind of figure out how they merge into these movies because
and Dwayne, it's crazy you say that because Kevin Feige obviously basically runs all of Marvel or MCU. He went in an interview and they were saying about all these different shows that are out there, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Netflix shows. What not many people think you want them to be part of your MCU. He goes, I have a lot of fans of all those shows that disagree, and I think they'd want them in there. He wouldn't say that if he didn't have plans to bring some of those characters in.
The only show he didn't name was Iron Fist.
Listen,
that's the only one he
didn't. You know what? Real true. That's the only show. There, Marvel hasn't really missed on a lot of shows.
That's the only.
Even
I literally hope Doctor Strange opens up a circle to bring all, like physically. I just want to see this, even if it's a joke scene, to let all the Netflix characters come in, and as soon as Iron Fist is about to walk through,
just kick him in,
and close it
right down,
and then throw the ring, then take his ring off and throw it. He ain't coming.
Deadpool.
He ain't
I will say though,
and Deadpool 3 is MCU now too, so that's how we know for a fact.
Yeah,
something's happening.
I will say though that I would love to see Iron Fist show up in Shang-Chi.
A new iteration, but
yeah. It was, and then Daredevil. Who knows? Maybe Spider-Man 3, She-Hulk.
Shang-Chi's going to be pretty good,
Just
by the way.
Jessica Jones control, but She-Hulk as well, and then Luke Cage. I can't think of any shows in which he'd be like compatible with in regards to tone.
Right.
But I'm sure. I mean, Marvel will find a way to.
He could pop up in like Spider-Man or something like that. I think.
Yeah, he's been on the team.
Even She-Hulk, if you really wanted to make it work to some degree.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he just needs to leave that dab at Netflix.
Yeah.
Sweet Christmas.
You ain't lying. Hey, I got one quick little thing to mention, and I will let's play a little. Derrick, this is on you. So at the end, did you watch all the post-credit scenes?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got the first one, right? The mid-credits.
Yeah.
We had the scroll pop up.
Yeah.
Tell Monica we need you. So do you think this is a direct correlation to Secret Invasion or Captain Marvel 2?
Captain Marvel 2.
Captain Marvel 2.
Yeah,
now, so as far as, and I want to dig into this, and all of us can kind of give our little points on it real quick. So we all know Secret Invasion is literally, the Skrulls were never good. So the MCU, again, they're changing the typical canon. The Skrulls are good for the most part, but I think the Secret Invasion will be a faction of those Skrulls that are slowly integrating themselves within Earth, right? Taking over certain parts of government, so on and so forth. I'm so happy Samuel Jackson is starring in that. Like, he's a consistent star character now. Like, he's not just going to pop up. He's going to be a main part, which is awesome. Obviously, we know how great he is. Where do you think they're going with that? Are they going to be some semblance of Baron Zemo, so Civil War, where he purposely broke up the Avengers, and then the Avengers being broken up, leave them at a disadvantage for someone like Mephisto or Galactus? Is that what this Secret Invasion is going to be? Something that kind of just breaks apart our heroes again and leaves them in a state of flux?
I think so, because I mean, you already seen this. We've already seen that, like at the end of Endgame.
Right.
Like, you have some that are in space, some that are on Earth. So I think you have to split it up across the board now at this point, because there's a lot of stuff going on. Right. There's a lot of stuff going on. And I think this is why I actually appreciate the shows coming to Disney Plus, because of the fact that when you're introducing these new characters, you can just introduce them as shows. You don't have to do full-blown films at this point.
Yes.
You can introduce them as shows, or you can introduce them as a cameo, then show them as bring them as a show, then have them have their own movie. That's why I think Dwayne's theory about Ghost Rider, the idea of bringing him in at some point, I think that's going to end up happening. So I think we're going to get more shows. I mean, of course, we're getting Falcon and Winter Soldier in a couple weeks, but
so hyped for that.
Yeah, I think they have to do that, but the reason why I think is geared toward Captain Marvel 2 is because you see that Monica obviously has an issue with Captain Marvel.
She pissed.
She is hot. She is really hot. So I like whatever, whether she blames Captain Marvel for her mom's death or whatever, like in terms of getting cancer, however that whatever that's the case, I think that we're going to end up seeing this story carry on to Captain Marvel 2.
So I'm with that, Matt. What are your thoughts?
I think the post-credit scene is the mid-credit scene is more than likely connecting the Secret Invasion first, as Secret Invasion and Captain Marvel 2 are projects that are interconnected with one another. So I think more than likely we will gain a deeper insight as to why those particular factions or Skrulls are defective, why they're infiltrating high levels of government or other areas of society that Sword cannot possibly control. I think ultimately Talos will more likely assist Fury with identifying major Skrulls or going between different planets, possibly to kind of like assess the situation. I mean, they're gonna be. I don't know much about the Secret Invasion storyline in the comics. I know the most that they just transformed into Avengers, and the Avengers were forced to like scramble around and say, "Okay, we need to take you out." Ask a series of questions. Fights occurred. So I'm not sure what the series entails for Captain Marvel 2. I really don't know what story they're going to tell for that movie. I don't care enough about that movie, but in the grand scheme of the MCU, I'm interested to see what they're doing with scrolls in general. Yeah. So we'll see.
Dwayne, what's your quick little thoughts on that?
I'm definitely gonna lean more on the Captain Marvel 2 side of things. Although I can see it going to Secret Invasion first if it's gonna set up. I mean, because if Captain Marvel is this big powerful being that they set her up to be from Endgame on up to this point, obviously she's supposed to be the big savior point of whatever the scrolls are gonna likely do. But then again, who knows? Fantastic Four coming in the mix here, Super Scrolls. Who knows? There's a lot of different thoughts and aspects that could play here, but I definitely feel like it seems like it's going to lean more towards Captain Marvel 2, just for her to have that confrontation, as Derrick mentioned, where it's like she's hot about something, and that's the one thing we're trying to figure out. What did she do to you to make you not want to acknowledge her whatsoever? So it's going to be very interesting to see.
Angel, I think you're on the same path as everyone else, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah. I think Marvel 2 is gonna be the one, and then with the scrolls is funny because they're always running from something. And that's why kind of like Galactus is gonna be the big villain for this next phases. I think they're running from Galactus. I think Captain Marvel, she solved the first issues they had, which was keep bringing them to safety, kind of. And it always seems like they're always leaving something or hiding from something or running from something. So I think that's Galactus. I think they bring Galactus to Earth or our world. Because he's probably looking for them, where he's they kind of like found their last place to hide, type of thing.
So okay, I like that. So real quick, I know we're under a little bit out of time here, but I just wanted to make one last quick comment on WandaVision. I will say, what a phenomenal start to this next phase, and I'm not giving Far From Home any credit. I'm not giving anything else. And WandaVision was not intended to be the start of this next phase. I think Black Widow was. We'll see how that goes. But what a story. I mean, to the people who are a little impatient, thank you for sticking in with it, because I was a little impatient as well, like kind of like what Derrick said in terms of staying with the show. But at the same time, it's Marvel. We haven't had Marvel in a year, so I'll watch anything at this point.
Yeah.
The way that we saw her pain, I almost literally felt her pain, right? And the closure that they had, the scene with Vision and Wanda at the Avengers compound in the past, and the quotes that they had, the ability to give Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany the reins to do whatever they wanted. I mean, they played 60s characters, 70s characters, 80s Modern Family characters. I mean, to be able, like, I never knew how great of an actress Elizabeth Olsen was until this. I'll tell you that. Like, she did good. Obviously, like, I love all Marvel.
She slept on. She slept on as actress.
Paul Bettany has been known to be a very good actor, but
yeah,
for him to be able to show everything he's been able to do, and just like the writing involved with this, the directing, the angles, the shots, I mean, everything that they did was a purpose. Even with the past scenes with all the sitcoms she used to watch, that was her only happiness almost in her life. Two things: Vision, well, three if you count her fake kids, but Vision, her kids, and those sitcoms were the only happy moments, and that's why WandaVision happened. Those sitcoms, that what made her happy is the reason why she created that reality, right? It all came full circle. What a story, and I love it. But hey, again, we're getting to the end here, so I'll let all you guys kind of give them who you are again, give them your social medias, and tell them where to find you. So Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, as always, you can find me over Instagram, Matt_T29. And of course, because the closing message I have is, thank you for support to everyone who's watching. Because if it weren't for these four gentlemen with us today, this podcast would not be existing, and we wouldn't have the confidence to move forward with it. So thank you, gentlemen, for taking time out of your day to geek out with us, conversate and hopefully get excited for what's to come in the future of Marvel. So thank you.
Angel, where can they? Oh, I'm sorry, El Panda. Where can they find you?
Man, you can find me over on Facebook. That's basically it. I don't have any Instagram and all that stuff, Twitter.
He's always in the OTS group talking shit though.
But I'm proud member of the OTS Debt Collectors.
Yes.
the official OTS security team.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Making sure Derrick's less stressed every day.
Yes,
or more stressed.
Taking it to the bank.
We promise. Listen, we promise safety and fair posting in OTS.
We made Mike a moderator, bro.
But
man.
But like I said, shout out to the debt collectors. But like I said, thank you for having me on the show. I feel like I've known y'all my whole life. So I appreciate that.
Literally, figuratively.
There you go.
Hey, Dwayne, look, you got like a million places they can find you. I want to hear them all. You got different names.
Different names.
You love all your podcasts. You bring in some famous people I would have never thought I'd be able to speak to on Twitter. So
man,
I want to hear it, bro. Where can we find you, bro?
It's simple, man. On Instagram, man, you can find me at Dwayne Dickey Jr. That's my personal, everything is me page. You know what I'm saying? That's where I give you a little bit of everything. The artist side, I give you the nerdy side, I give you the podcast side, a little bit of all of that. You know what I'm saying? And then of course, if you're into music, if you're into hip hop, things like that, I am an artist in my spare time. Follow me at Highlight Life.
I'm not to interrupt you. He's a dope ass artist.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have to interject. Hold on. I have to. I'm sorry, Dwayne. I don't want to interrupt you. We recorded the Sideline Guys on Monday. Before Jeremy was able to get on, Mike and I were on early, just talking, shooting the shit.
Mm-hmm.
We both talked about how you can rap, and bro, you can rap. Keep it up.
Thank you, brother.
We love what you do, and keep going. Sorry.
Oh no! Listen, thank you, brother. It's always a pleasure. And I love, and again, guys, I did a song on anime. So if y'all haven't heard music from your boy, I do have a song about anime, superhero song coming soon at some point. Just so you know, because all this WandaVision talk, all this Marvel talk. Hey man, listen, we can be heroes as well on the way. We got to get something epic because we can be heroes. You know what I'm saying? So it has to be epic. But yes, stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, because you just never know. You might hear a new theme song right here on We Can Be Heroes from yours truly. So y'all sit tight and y'all enjoy these hosts. But follow my artist page, man, at Highlight Life, HILITE Life. And again, Angel, shout out to the OTS Debt Collectors. You know what I mean? I'm in the group too. We in there. We have fun. We talk trash, but it's one big fam in there. And we most importantly, we keep it safe. We keep it, nice and equal level for everybody. We have opinions. We talk trash. It's some superhero stuff, music, sports, all of that. But we keep it nice and safe and equal. So,
It's still love, man.
It's all love, man.
Hey, but so Derrick, I'll do this. Everywhere, Derrick is everywhere. So you go on if you go on your gifts on your phone, you search like peeking. You ever seen that Anthony Anderson the gif with him in the background like? That's Derrick. I swear, I'm recording. I feel like I hear him. Like, bro, shut up. So Derrick, head honcho, owner of OTS. Where can they find you, brother?
Oh yeah, so if you want to follow my personal page, it's Derrick_OTS. That's DERRICK, the black way to spell it. And you can also, I would rather you follow the OTS page more than following me. So that's at OTS Guys, all social media platforms. We finally have our custom URL on YouTube. So
yes,
it's youtube.com/OTS Guys. Thank you for everyone that has subscribed. We are at 111 subscribers right now. So we're building up. We're building up, so I'm loving it. We have I think 25 shows under the brand now. So I appreciate all you guys for supporting the shows that are in the audience. I appreciate you guys for supporting. But for you guys, I appreciate all the work that you guys do for the shows themselves, for the group page. Angel, I really don't even know how Debt Collectors got started. Y'all hilarious as hell though.
Hey, man, we got started to make sure that you live a peaceful life, my man. Yes. We kind of formed our own Avenger team.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did.
I'm just listen. I'm more of the level-headed member. You know, we got some of the memers and some of the jokes. Man, I make the jokes here and there, but you know, we got some boys in there that they don't mind sacrificing a few days in prison.
Yeah. And that chat is active on a daily. Trust me.
You know, I wake up. I remember one time I woke up. I think I worked late at night. I woke up in the morning to 300 something messages. I'm like, man, these boys are active right now.
Those boys do not play, man. Hey, so of course you guys can find me at John_OTS on Twitter. I honestly forgot my IG name, but I'm on there too. I'll be tagged. I think I'm John_OTS on IG.
Yeah, John. Yeah.
I don't know. I change my shit all the time, but it's John_OTS. And as Derrick said, man, first of all, personally, I know Matt and I have talked about in multiple podcasts so far. Thank you for the views. I mean, if you can give us 10 views for our video, I'm happy. WC, We Can Be Heroes, obviously it's had over hundreds at this point, in total. The subscribers have gone up since obviously we started this podcast up. Yeah. Every view, every subscriber, we appreciate it. Go to youtube.com/OTS guys. Go check out the website. Blogs are coming. We're going to have a lot of articles and blogs starting.
I actually have an anime article that's coming up on this weekend. So
there you go. And clearly we're all geeks in this podcast, baby. So go ahead,
sir. Love it.
Look, we're all about it, man. Come check us out. And thank you, man. This is what we're here for. We Can Be Heroes. Peace.